Hey, my name is Josh Blanchard, and today we are looking at Premiere Pro. This is the first video in hopefully a series of videos teaching you guys how to run, operate, and use Premiere Pro efficiently. So today we're going to look at the very basics. We're going to open it up, import our very first video file, and then export it, and I'll show you how to do all of that, hopefully within 5 minutes. So let's get started. Whew. All right, so first thing, you're going to open up Premiere Pro. All right, once you open it, you're gonna click on New Project. Let's title this Our Very First Video. Boom. No exclamation point. Gets weird. All right, so the very first time that you open Premiere Pro, you're going to be looking at this layout. You have got your project bin over here on the left. You've got your source, your program, and your timeline. Don't let this confuse you. I'm gonna walk you through each and every one of these things. So the very first thing we're gonna do though, is we're gonna import our media. So over here where it says import media, you can either double click in here, or you can go to File, Import, and then find the files that you would like to import. All right, so I found my media. We're gonna pop that in there. Wait for it to load. All right, now we have our first video files imported into our project. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to create a sequence. Now the easiest way to do that is to take the videos, one of the videos that you're starting with, and just drag it right into the timeline. Now you have your first sequence. It actually popped up over here in your project bin, and you can rename this. Let's call it Sequence 1. Whoa, caps lock, why are you being weird? Perfect. So this is our first sequence. From this point, all you have to do is start dragging and dropping your video clips in, and you can scrub through using this little timeline right here. Pretty cool. This is a rental property that I shot some videos of about a week or two ago. And if you double click on one of your video files, it'll pop up in your source so you can actually preview it before you put it into your project or your sequence. So that's pretty much it for there. So let's go over a little bit of what you need to know in the timeline. The timeline is linear. So you have video tracks 1 through 3, and you have audio tracks 1 through 3. You can add more if you'd like. Add tracks, 1 video, 1 audio, boom. Now I have another video and an audio. Or you can delete the tracks just by right-clicking, delete track, boom, just like that. So the top, this is going to be your video, and this is your audio. Now I can expand this by holding down Alt and using my scroll wheel, just hovering over it, just like that. Pretty. And you can use this little scroll bar to scroll through your video. You can also use it to zoom in or zoom out. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna find where I want my video to start. So about right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on this little razor tool, and I'm gonna cut my video. I'm going to go back to my selection tool, and then I'm going to clear that video. I can either drag this to the very beginning, or I can right click on this empty space and hit ripple delete, which will delete the empty space, as long as it's empty. All right, now I've got my in. Right there's where I want it to end. So I can either use my razor tool to cut here and delete again, or what I can do is scroll to the end of this video clip, and you'll see this little logo, and you can just slide it back just like that. Now I can wedge this one in there. I can see where I want this to start. Now this is the same clip, so we are going to use a different one instead. So I'm just going to overlay this. There we go. So this is the kitchen, and I want it to start right about there. So I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. Just like that, super easy. And I want it to end right about there. Boom. All right, so now I have my very first clip, and it will lead into my second clip, just like that. Now you can add transition effects, you can add all that kind of stuff, and we'll go over those in another video. But for today, we're just going to worry about importing, cutting, and exporting. So now we have our very first video. I can throw in a few more clips to make it a little bit longer if I wanted to. So let's double click on this. And here's a cool thing about the source is if I find my endpoint somewhere in here, so I want my start to be here, I can just click I on my keyboard and it'll start an endpoint. and I can select O, and that will be my out point. And then I can drag this video into my timeline, just like that. And it's only dragging in the part that I cut up. See? Super easy. So once you've finished, I would highly recommend you save. Control S is a shortcut for that. And then what you need to do is you need to export. So go to File, Export, Media. Boom. And then you're gonna see this little guy pop up. Don't let all of this crazy information freak you out. There's only a few things you need to know right now. First of all, you can rename it, your output name. So sequence 1, I'm going to put this onto my desktop. We're gonna call this sequence 1, it's fine, save. You've got your format. I usually do H.264. It's a pretty good format. So when you import your video and you drag it over into your sequence and you create a new sequence, that sequence is going to match its settings to the video that you imported. So if your video is 1080, your sequence will be 1080. If your video is 4K, your sequence will be 4K. You can change all that in here if you need to export it as a separate or a different file size. So like if it is 4K and you need to go to 1080, you can unselect this and type in the width and height that you need it to be. You can also change the frame rate if you need to. So if I shot this in 60 frames, I can go to 30, 29, 24. I can do any of these if I would like. So for now, we're just gonna leave it how it is. And then the other thing you need to worry about is this guy. So without going too deep into this, this is basically like a quality slider. Typically I leave this at 10 and 12. You can do a constant bit rate. I would probably recommend you do a variable bit rate. That way that if it needs to, it can pull more, and if it doesn't, it'll just do the very minimum. So we're just gonna leave this at 10. And then you can see down here an estimated file size, which is really great. If this is like huge, then you might need to bump this down. And from there, we just hit export. Now the video is going to export. Almost there, almost there. Boom, and we're done. So now I'm going to minimize Premiere because I saved it to my desktop. And here's my very first video ever. It's got my first clip, which will then lead into my second clip, and then at the very end, the third clip. It's as easy as that. So I hope this video helped you guys. I will do more videos like this, going more in depth into Premiere Pro and editing in Premiere Pro. So definitely hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned to those videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.